Hold on.
All right.
I'm getting the hang of this new computer here.
I mean, it's just
Jeez,
like the old one, except newer.
I know. Okay, I am ready.
Are you sure?
I
Are
think.
you?
I think.
Yeah.
Sorry. I. Okay.
All right. Well, everything's recording, so I think all we have to do is line all this stuff up. We're back with the special episode of the Pandemic Guitar Podcast. That's right, it's our Joe Bonamassa live from Des Moines recap episode. We've been very excited, waited a long time to get here. It's been about 20 hours since the show, a little bit less, actually. And here we are, finally recording our recap. We're your hosts. I'm Tim, and on the other microphone, of course, is Rick.
How you doing, everybody?
Oh, so 20 hours ago, or a little bit less.
Yep.
We went to the Joe Bonamassa concert. It was a really good concert, and we're going to talk all about it. We're going to start off at the very beginning, walk through the night, and all that good stuff. But first, like we always do, we talk a little bit about the previous episode, which was episode number 7. And I really liked that one. I thought it went really well. And
Yeah, I thought.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No. Oh yeah, I thought it. I thought it went well.
It did. I've actually listened to the episode quite a few times on my own device, so I'm not affecting our numbers or anything like that. But I did have a few friends that listened to the show chime in and come up or mention some of their musicians that would be on their Mount Rushmore. Some mentions were Dimebag Darrell, which I know he was super popular, but I'm not familiar with his work.
Yep, he's super popular. Yes, he is.
Yep. James Hetfield, that was a big one, even though we mentioned it. But then that actually started an argument.
Why?
Because a few other people thought that Kirk Hammond is the guitarist of Metallica, not James Hetfield. Like James Hetfield he's just the front man. We even had somebody that came out and said, well, what about Dave Mustaine from Megadeth? Because he started as the lead guitarist for Metallica.
Yep.
So yeah, that's a whole story right there. Of course, Slash, I hope I get this last name right, Trey Anastasio.
I'm not sure. I never heard of that one.
He is, I don't know if he's the lead singer, lead guitarist, but he's from Phish.
Okay.
I've never been a Phish fan. I've heard some of their music, just not my thing.
Yep, neither have I.
Jack White, Chuck Berry, Jimmy Page, and Santana were all honorable mentions.
Yes, Jimmy Page, very good. Carlos Santana, love the guy. I mean, Slash is really good too. I mean, Jack White, I believe you mentioned there.
Yep.
And yeah, actually there was a special, I think it's on Netflix with Jack White, Jimmy Page, and I can't think of who the other guitarist was. But
I think I've seen clips of that.
Yeah, I can't remember who it is, but yeah, it's very good. Very interesting to watch.
Yeah. So and that's the great thing about the Mount Rushmore of musicians is everybody can build a different monument and it can change over time. After last night's concert, I would almost want to put Joe on my Mount Rushmore.
Joe was very good.
Yeah, he was. So let's talk about the concert.
Well,
go ahead.
I got one thing to say is that you know how Ace Farley has that Les Paul and it goes on fire, makes the smoke and everything.
Okay.
Well, Joe was doing that last night without the effects.
Yeah, that's true. It seemed about every 2 songs somewhere in there he was doing a guitar swap.
I thought it was every song he was doing a guitar swap.
No, I think it was I think it averaged about every 2. I don't know. His stagehand that kept bringing out the guitars, though, that guy was getting a workout.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't give him an honorable mention.
He should get one. You know, maybe his iWatch, the walking counter, increased quite a bit that night.
Yeah, that's what they can post on social media is how many steps the stage. Is that the right term? Is stagehand?
Roadies.
All right.
Yep. Yeah, stagehand, you know.
What the concert was scheduled to start at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. And
Yep.
we tried to backwards plan a little bit and say, hey, let's go out and get something to eat before we went to the concert. And we did.
Yep.
Had a quick little meal, ran downtown, and we got to the venue about an hour before the doors opened, I believe it was.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, so we got down there, we found a parking spot, walked through the skywalk, got to the venue, and doors were locked. So then we actually decided, because when we were finding a parking spot, we saw the tour buses.
Yep.
So we decided, let's go down and get a picture. And,
Yeah.
we went down there, and there's just this one guy kind of standing there, kind of, I don't know, he kind of sort of looked like maybe he was the guardian of the buses, but then again, he kind of looked like he was just there.
I thought he was just cold.
Yeah, right. He was bundled up.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we asked him, we're like, are you the guardian of the buses? He's like, yeah, I suppose. And we're like, do you think we can get a picture? And he's like, not recommended. We're like, all right.
Yeah.
I didn't want to push our luck.
Yeah, I didn't want to either. I figured maybe after the concert we can get a picture, but I don't think you took one, did you? Or did you?
I didn't. Everybody was leaving. There were just so many people around. We should have, but it was kind of one of those things where I know it was late by the time we got out of the venue.
Right.
We have about 15, 20 minutes to get to my house, and then you have to grab your car, and then it's another 20 minutes until you get home. So I know that it was a late day, and you were ready to call it a night.
I was. It was. I was stretching it.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't stay up that late.
Yeah, and I don't normally sit in that style of a chair for 2 hours straight.
Yes, it was quite painful.
So we went back in, and we're just kind of hanging around and just talking. And then somebody actually said, well, there's people inside. We're like, well, there can't be people inside. They don't open the doors till 7. So we went downstairs, we went in, and we were able to get into like the front area, the ticket box area.
Yep.
And we went to the ticket counter because we wanted to make sure that the digital tickets were going to work.
Yep, correct.
And we just happened to be talking to the lady there and asked, are there any seats a little closer to the stage that are available by any chance? And that lady was super nice.
Yes, she had to go back and ask a supervisor, but still,
Yeah.
she was very nice.
Yeah, because I think
And
normally they can upgrade. We didn't upgrade our seats. We still stayed in the same cost section, I guess.
Yes.
But we just were able to move several rows closer to the stage. And they didn't charge us an upgrade fee or anything like that, which is really cool. And I would have happily paid it.
Yeah, I would have too. I mean, it was worth it. The new seats we got were very good.
Yeah.
We're only, I think there were 7. It was 7 seats between the old seats we first had and the new seats, wasn't it? Or was it 11?
Oh, you're asking me to do some math, and I don't want to do that. But I'll tell you this much: we were originally in row Q, and we got moved up to row J. So, however many rows is between those two letters, that's what we moved.
Right, and we weren't quite center stage. We were just a fraction off from center.
Just a hair off to the right.
But it was still great seats. We had a great view of the concert.
Oh, yeah. I felt like we were eye level with Joe.
Yep, we were.
And I was totally blown away when we finally got to our seats, and there was almost nobody in the venue. And I remember we were talking a little bit like, is this it? This can't be it.
Right. I took a picture of the seats in front of us and the stage, and I sent it to my brother, and my brother's comment was, where's all the people?
Yeah. Are there no Joe Bonamassa fans in the Midwest?
Yeah, where is everybody? So, I had to tell him we're in about an hour before the concert started.
It wasn't quite an hour. So I think it was about 40 minutes.
Yeah, but still.
Yeah. It wasn't until probably about 10 minutes before the concert actually started where all of a sudden, out of nowhere, everybody just started flooding it.
Yeah, people were just coming. I mean, it was bizarre. They were in the beginning when we were there. They were just trickling in, and we're like, "What is 50% or 75% of this is going to be, unseated?" And then all of a sudden, just packs and packs of people just started coming in and filling up the seats. I was very surprised.
Yeah.
That they waited until the last minute on this.
Yeah, I can't remember the last time I've gone to an event at that particular venue. And I actually think, because we were talking, because I was like, oh, I think the last time that I was there was for a Blue Man Group concert. But I'm thinking that it wasn't there.
No, I think it was at the event center, wasn't it?
No,
I mean at the Vets Auditorium.
Yeah, Vets Auditorium, because they have a pretty similar setup, the Civic Center and Vets.
I believe so.
Yeah, they have to, because there was so many things that looked familiar, but it wasn't familiar.
Right.
But, and again, I'm not really a concert goer. I just decided this year that I kind of want to go to some concerts and see some shows. So it's kind of a whole new experience for me.
Right.
I think this is the third concert this year that I've went to, and this one was by far the best. I thought the venue size was perfect. The audience size was perfect. Even to be honest with you, I think that if you were sitting in the very back row, I think it would have still been a good concert.
Yes, it would have. You would have had the sound would have been there. You might not have been able to see the stage very well, but you could hear it good enough.
Well, it sure would be being all the way in the back row at Wells Fargo, because if you're all the way, Wells Fargo is so huge that if you're all the way in the back, it's going to just look like a couple specks of light on the stage.
And that's what it would be in that place too.
Would it?
Yeah, I think so. Because if you look back, it's quite a ways back there. I forgot what it is. Is it goes to double digits in the back, doesn't it? It goes Z, and then there's like I'm not sure.
Yeah, there's a few rows of double digits in the back. Because I remember I looked online before the event to see what seats were available, because apparently this is a thing where if you wait to the last minute, seats will just pop up, and most of the time they're even cheaper.
Yep.
And I saw it looked like 50% of the back section was going to be empty, but when I looked right before the concert started, I looked in back, and it looked way more than 50% full.
Yes, it did. It was more like about 80% at that time.
Yeah. So.
And then people were still coming in, though, but when I looked.
Yeah, and so the venue is really cool. I thought it was like weird because like a lot of the venue staff were wearing like actual suits.
Yes, that is weird.
It's like, okay, and there were some people that walked in that were all dressed up like it was date night or something.
Yep.
I wasn't going to put a suit on to sit there, but it was good. Everything was super clean. The place was, it's just really nice, easy to navigate. The only issue that I didn't like, it's not a concession stand, but it's the little stand that they had where they sell T-shirts and trinkets and stuff like that. That was only 16 foot wide, maybe.
Yeah, it was small.
Yeah, so I wouldn't have mind picking up a shirt, but there's so many people crowded around there. I was like, I'm not even gonna try to get in there.
Yeah, I don't know if who determines the size of that table that they're on. I don't know whether it's the Civic Center that does that, the venue, or the maybe whoever's selling the shirts determines it. I have no idea. That's the table they came with. I don't know. I know nothing about that.
Yeah,
but yeah, he did have a Gibson, not a Gibson, but an Epiphone 335 there. I think it was signed by him too that they were selling.
Yeah, so I thought, because we saw it from the ticket room, I was like, oh, it's probably throw $20 and at the end of the show he's going to raffle off a cheap Epiphone or something like that. And then we got in there and I got close enough to see that it was $1,500 and it was signed by Joe.
Yep.
That would have been cool. I don't have $1,500 just to throw at a guitar right now.
Neither do I.
And, we've had this discussion, not on the podcast, but, every once in a while you'll come across one of those concert guitars. They're usually, $100, $125 guitar. It's signed by all the band members. And every once in a while you'll see those come up on like Facebook Marketplace or one of those other online guitar swap trade places, what kind of value do those signatures really add?
Well, the value is all in the person that's, I mean, if somebody is looking for a guitar with the signature of that artist on there, the value would increase. But if somebody's just looking for the guitar but not the signature, well, the signature ain't worth anything.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
it's going to depend. It's going to depend on the artist. That's what it depends on.
Yeah, I can see that. I know that recently I think we've seen one come up for Bush and I saw another one for Buck Cherry.
Yep.
And I was like, all right, cool. I mean, I'd be in it for $75 for the guitar, but I care not at all for those signatures. I don't get it.
Right. Well, when I was the Bush one, I remember talking to the guitar box about it, and they basically they didn't even care about the signatures. They just paid for what the guitar was worth. The signatures were worthless to them to resell the guitar. So
right.
in this case, in that case, it didn't. The person that gave it to or sold it to Guitar Box, they didn't get paid for the signature at all. Maybe they thought they did, but it was pretty. It was the going price for that. I think it was a Squire.
Oh, I'm sure it
Was
was.
It was a Squire Affinity. I think it was.
Yeah.
Is what I was looking at.
Yeah, those are pretty common for
I can't remember
for getting doing the whole autograph thing. I know, what was it? It was Styx and drawing a blank who the other band was. But anyway, they did it where they had the it was a cheap Epiphone. You paid $20, you got a CD, and at the end of the show they drew a number, and if it was your number, you won it.
Right. It would have been nice if that guitar was raffled off. Maybe, you know what? If sometimes when you raffle off stuff like that, you make more than he might have made $2,000 on that, or
he
even
would have
more.
made a killing off of it. If we would have walked in there and if he would have said it's $50 for a ticket, I would have said, here's my $50.
Yeah.
And if you say how many people are there, I don't know how many seats the venue is, but
a few thousand.
Yeah. So I mean, do the math. $50 for 1,000 tickets.
Yeah.
I think you've paid for it, plus some.
Yep. Yeah, plus some. Yeah, that's usually what they do, and they're hoping for that on a lot of them, that they get a lot more than what the raffle.
Mm-hmm.
But he just had it for sale, and I guess if I had the money in the bank or something like that, and I didn't really have to worry about it, I guess maybe I might have gotten it, but.
Yeah.
It's a once in a lifetime thing.
Absolutely.
And it's not like you can go up to Joe and say, "Hey, can you sign my guitar?" I mean, just not going to happen.
Sure.
At least I don't know how to do that. I mean,
right. I'm sure that it just has to be the absolute right place and time, and probably would cost a few extra pennies.
Yeah, I don't know what he would charge for that, but I'm sure he wouldn't do it gratis. But you never know. I don't know.
Yeah. Let's get back into the concert because we're rambling on, and everybody is tuning in to hear about the concert.
Yep.
Yeah. So we were sitting there, and when right before, like 10 minutes, whatever, before the concert started, they were just playing some music. No big deal. It was just background. And it was funny to me because I was just like, oh, it's music. Okay, cool, whatever. Every song that popped on, you're like, oh, that's this person. Oh, that's this person. I'm like, all right, now you're just showing off.
Yeah, it was Jimi Hendrix, Stevie Ray Vaughan. They were playing a lot of good tunes.
Yeah, a lot of blues stuff.
Yeah. Well, it's Joe Bonamassa is a bluesman, so
right.
Yeah.
But then the song right before they took stage, all of a sudden the volume just jumped up.
Yes, like it went from mild to extreme.
I remember because we were talking about that. You're like, he's not going to turn it up to 11. It's just going to be mild. It's going to sound, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I think maybe within 10 seconds of Joe hitting the stage, I already had my earplugs in.
Well, I thought I thought he turned up to 15.
It got loud.
It was loud. And I'm glad I brought those earplugs with me.
Yeah.
Well, they're not earplugs, but their attenuators. They just tone the decibel down. I could still, matter of fact, when I put them in my ears, it was perfect. It was great listening to. I didn't have any problem.
It was really nice, and that actually, because I know that we talk again, we're always talking, but at the end, there was one spot where Joe was out front and he was doing his little, I don't want to necessarily call it soloing, but he was out front and he was just kind of like playing around, having fun, and it was just really, really soft. And I mentioned it was like listening for needles or pin drops.
Yeah.
And I think having the hearing protection in, any of that other ambient sound was out, so you heard those little quiet tones that he was making. And I was like,
Yep.
Yeah, this is great.
Yeah, it was actually really good. I really liked the way he played his solos. I mean, I really, as a guitarist, he's I admired him for what he does up there, and some of the licks that he played last night. He was on fire with some of that stuff, and he went on for one whole hour.
Yeah.
Just constant.
They came out, and it was lights on, music start, and it was literally 1 hour before they stopped to introduce everybody in the band.
Right, yeah.
And that first hour, I wasn't even paying attention to time.
Yep.
And then as soon as they took that break, I looked at my watch. I'm like, oh crap, they've been playing for an hour straight.
I mean, just watching Joe, my hands were hurting.
Well, I was going to say just watching him was making me sweat. But yeah. I also did not dress thinking that it was going to get warm in the venue.
Yeah, it did get warm. I wish they would have turned the air on or opened up the doors or something. It was quite warm in there. So, and I had to, well, we took our jackets off.
Oh yeah, but I still was wearing a nice thick like sweatshirt because it's November in Iowa. It gets cold.
It does, yes. So, and plus you got the wind, and if there wasn't any wind, it wouldn't have been bad, but
no,
it, just the way it goes, I guess.
Yep.
But yeah, Joe was on fire last night, and actually the whole band was really good. I enjoyed the rhythm guitarist that was there. Well, I'm not going to say rhythm. He was the other guitarist that was there, and he backed up Joe very well, I thought.
Did you get time to look up his name?
No, I did not. Did not.
I'll have to look it up and see if I can throw it in the show notes. That's probably, as far as the actual event itself, that's probably the only thing is that I couldn't make out a lot of words.
Right.
And I don't know if that's just because the music drowned it out or if I just can't hear that well. But I know when he was introducing the band, it was like I couldn't catch what he was saying.
Yeah, the one guy was from California.
I caught that.
The other
part.
guitarist. Yeah.
I think what, 3 people from California, 1 from Texas. I think the bassist was from Texas.
Yeah, he was. I believe so. The singers were really good. He had 2 female singers. Very good.
The one that was on our left.
Right.
She had way too much energy.
Yeah.
She's just dancing and smiling. And I'm just like,
yep. And also
right.
playing the tambourine too.
Yeah.
So and then the one was from California. I think the one on the left was from California, wasn't she? Yeah. And then the one on the right was from Australia.
Yeah, I think one was California, one was Australia. I can't remember. I thought that he had said something about fluent Australian first, which I think they introduced the gal on the left first.
Right, they did.
But
so yeah, I guess don't hold us to it.
Yeah,
but, they were really good. I wish I could have heard them a little bit better, and then the vocals a little bit better. And I wish I could have heard Joe's vocals a little bit better.
Yeah.
Than what was there. The drummer was absolutely superb.
I'll tell you what, like when they went soft, he was perfect. Like,
yep.
Just very he's just sitting there kind of just giving that background track while Joe's doing his thing. I mean, yeah, drummer was amazing.
Yeah. And then you had the bassist was very good. Oh, I mean, he kept it going, and he just stood in one position all night, and I don't know. So, but he was really good.
Yeah. I can't imagine just standing in front of your rack, because I don't even know how many speakers he had that he was standing in front of.
Right.
But I'm just sitting there thinking to myself, like, I can feel that. So
Yep.
how you're just standing there, I have no idea. But yeah, he was good. Everybody was good.
Oh, absolutely. And then the pianist, that really threw me, because what happened is that when they first lit up the stage completely, I seen they were in back to the right, well, my right, looking at the stage. There were two wooden boxes there, big wooden boxes.
Yep.
And I'm like, are those Leslie's? And I wasn't really 100% sure. And for people that don't know what a Leslie is, it's I think Leslie's been out of business for a while, and it's a rotating speaker that sits in the cabinet and rotates, and it gives gives the room, allows the sound to bounce off all points in the room. It's really like a surround sound type thing. And then they introduced him as, trying to think of what his name is. I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank right now. I think it's Reese Wiley.
Winans. Wynans.
Yep. Reese, if you're out there, I apologize for the making the mistake on the name.
If Reese is listening to this podcast, we apologize that you're listening to this podcast.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. But anyhow, I was just amazed. And then of course you had Joe there, and Joe with I mean, he was just going at it all night long. I didn't believe it. I mean, if he would have stayed on the same guitar, I bet you we would have seen flames from the neck.
It would have been melting.
Yeah, it would have been melting. So, but an exceptional concert, very good.
The whole band, they went a full hour, took a quick little break.
Yep.
And it wasn't even a break like they got off stage or anything. It was just a quick little break to introduce everybody and give a quick little background story. And then they instantly went into another 50 minutes straight playing.
Yep. I don't know how he does it. Well, it must have been all those years he's playing. You know, they just constantly,
here's my thing. If I was the drummer, my legs would have fallen off.
Yeah.
You know, I just can't even believe. I mean, at least the backup singers, there were a couple times where they weren't needed because it was just the band playing and stuff like that. I saw that they got off stage and took a little break.
Yep.
But everybody else, for an hour and 45, an hour and 50 minutes, just nonstop playing. And there were a lot of times where you couldn't even tell one song ended and another song began. I think for me, that's watching the guitar swap that Joe did. I was like, okay, he's done with this song. Now it's another song.
Yep. Except for the one he did, he was playing his Strat. I think it was a red Strat. I'm not sure of that. I think it was a red Strat, and he swapped it out. He swapped it out for, I think it was the Gibson Les Paul.
Yep, he did do a swap mid-song. I do believe it was mid-song.
Yes, it was.
Strat and to the Les Paul. Yep.
Yeah. Now, what I was really surprised about is that usually I look at when Joe Bonamassa comes up, I think of him as a Les Paul guy. You know, Les Paul, and you know he's always around Les Pauls. He's always looking for like 1957 Les Pauls, 56 Les Pauls. You know, those are the ones that are worth a lot of money and stuff. They're collectors, you know, collector stuff. But I was really surprised that he played a Stratocaster. Actually, he had a red one and he had a black one. It was there, I believe.
For some reason, I want to think he had a red one, a black one, and a tobacco burst.
Yes, he did. You're right. He did have a tobacco burst. Yes, and then he also came out with the Telecaster.
Oh yeah, that's actually what he was doing on the Telecaster. That was probably one of my favorite moments.
Yes, he had a Telecaster. I couldn't see what was. I couldn't see if he. I could see in the neck position he had a humbucker in there.
Yep, I couldn't tell if he had a single at the Yeah, I think he did. I think he had a single at the bridge and then a humbucker at the neck.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'd have to look it up and see if I can find the guitar online. But
Yep. I was actually
you know,
thinking the same thing because I don't think I've ever seen a Telecaster with a humbucker.
yeah, they're around.
Oh, I'm
I've seen
sure
them
they
with
are.
yeah, I've seen them in single coil and humbucker in the neck position and a single coil in the bridge position, and I've also seen them as two humbuckers too. Also, I've seen with the Esquires is sometimes they put a pickup underneath the pick guard. I don't know if you know that.
No.
Yeah, yeah. With the Esquires, they're single pickup, but sometimes some of the artists put a pick guard on another pickup underneath the pick guard, and it's invisible. So
Yeah, obviously.
yes, yes,
You
but
just can't see it. It's hidden.
yes, it's hidden. It's magic.
Here's the other cool thing is it was a sit down style concert. Everybody in attendance had a chair and everybody sat down. It wasn't
Yes,
until about the last 20 minutes. It was actually 20 minutes left of the concert because I remember Joe went to it'd be our left-hand side of the stage and was like, everybody get up. And so the
right.
entire auditorium stood up for, I don't know, 5-10 minutes or so before they sit down. But the last 20 minutes or so, there was a little bit of stand up, sit down, and so forth, which normally I don't want to get up and stand up. But by the time we had hit that point, my butt was so raw. I was like, I'm going to gladly accept this opportunity to get up and stretch my legs.
Yes, my legs were falling asleep too. You know, it was really strange though. You mentioned that Joe was walking back and forth from left to right. You know, he'd go over to the right side and he'd play a little bit, and he'd go over to the left side and play.
Mm-hmm.
And what was really weird. If you look at the audience, you'd see when he went over to the left side, all the people with the cell phones and the video, they'd all start taking video. Then as he went over to the right side, all of them you'd see it all shut down, and then everybody on the right side, the video would come out.
Yeah,
I mean, it was really
yeah, I did notice that. But what was funny too, because on their website, I don't know if there was anything posted, but on their website, like they say, put your phones on silent and refrain from using your cell phones as a source of light during
right.
the event. And like every other event, it's like, put away your cell phone. Like,
Yeah,
you paid good money to see this concert,
yep,
experience the concert. Like, I know your cell phone audio is not going, when you play back that video, you're not going to hear what's going on, or it's going to be real horrible junk audio.
right, yeah,
But at the same time, it's like, but I really want a picture, especially for us, because I wanted something to put on social media. But at the very beginning, when the concert started, I saw some of the event staff trying to get people's attention and be like, hey, no phones, put your phone away. And then
right.
by the end of the first song, it was like the event staff was just like, yeah, screw it. There's nothing we can do.
Yeah, that's usually what happens. I've seen that so many times in events like that. They just give up because everybody's doing it, and the thing about it is the music is so loud that they really can't yell or can't get anybody's attention.
Oh yeah,
So
and they're not going to walk past 47 people to get to that one person in the middle.
right,
Because there's not enough. There's really no room between your knees and the seat in front of you. There's not a whole lot of room, so you're just going to make more people upset trying to get to that one person or whatever that's on the phone.
right,
But in the end, like at first, I was really starting to get frustrated with that, but it really wasn't near as bad as it has been at the few other events that I went to. It was real bad. I think when the Styx concert that I went to, like the entire time Styx was on the stage, almost everybody in the auditorium had their phone out recording.
wow.
That's what it felt like anyway.
You know what bothers me is that the people in the audience, some of the people had instead of having the phone on dark mode, they had it on the regular daylight mode.
Oh
And when
yeah.
they first turn, this bright screen comes on, and all of a sudden your eyes are drawn to it,
Mm-hmm.
and then it makes you when you're trying to look at the stage because it's dark, it's hard to see everything because all you're seeing is dots,
Yeah.
in front of your eyes from the light.
Yeah. Nope.
So
And there was one lady that was just off to in front of us, off to our left. I noticed she did have her screen brightness turned way down. I could tell she
yep.
was on her phone, but I really couldn't see what was going on. So it was either she had the screen brightness turned way down, or she had one of the privacy screens on it.
Right. Yeah, I did see that too. I caught her a few times when, she was recording there. And that's what I don't understand is why people do it. But I mean, if you want to prove you're at the concert, take a picture before the concert, take a picture after the concert. Or, but I think that you really need to respect the performer or the performers in this case. I mean, that's their bread and butter. And, they make money off of not only the venue, but take pictures and all that other stuff. So to have recordings like that get out, I mean, I don't know. That's just my opinion of the whole thing.
Yeah, I completely agree. Especially I'm sure it's not Joe who handles Joe's social media, but he's got somebody on his team that's taking pictures and putting it out on social media. Instead of taking your pictures and putting them on social media, go out, follow them, and when they post the pictures, leave a comment. Tag
Yeah.
yourself so it shows up on your timeline or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. Or you can share the comment, share the pictures.
Yep. Yep. You can repost or something like that.
Yeah. But I think that somebody did post a few pictures that were, I believe that they were on the staff.
Yeah, I'm sure that they were. I mean, because the pictures came from backstage.
Right. Yeah, they came from backstage, so they had to be.
It was funny because the pictures came on Instagram, and I'm trying to click the picture to make it bigger because I want to zoom in because I'm pretty sure that if I zoom in on this picture, I'll be able to find me and you in the audience.
Oh, I did that too.
And all it did was kept liking it, kept giving him hearts, which he deserves. It was a great performance. You did say, and obviously I'm very new to Joe Bonamassa, but you did say that he played his new stuff.
Yeah, he played a lot of new stuff. I think one of the songs he played was "Just Got Paid," and that was towards the end when the audience standed for the first time there. That's a fairly it goes back a ways, but
Yeah.
I was waiting for "Slow Gin," which is a really good song.
And I think that's the one. I want to say that's the song that everybody was chanting at the end because they finished right on time at the maybe a minute or two before the 2 hour mark, and they all left the stage.
Right.
And I'm kind of thinking, and I'll come back to this, but everybody's still standing. Nobody's even the staff isn't opening the doors. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, okay, everybody else here knows that they're coming back out for an encore.
Oh yeah, well the lights didn't go on.
Right.
The lights stayed off.
Yeah, the doors didn't open, the lights, everybody just stood there, and I think they were all chanting slow gin, slow gin. And then they came out, and Joe told a story, kind of like a little life lesson type deal.
Yep.
And played one final song. Then he put his I think it was his Telecaster he put on the stage.
It was.
Yeah. Threw a handful of picks out into the audience.
Right.
I saw it coming, and we were close enough to the front. I wanted to grab the pocket of our picks. There, I had a bunch of our picks in my pocket. I just kind of wanted to chuck them forward.
Yeah,
but I'm like,
I don't think you should have.
Yeah, somebody will get mad.
Yep, somebody will get mad. But yeah, it was. I think what he did was I can't swear to this, but I think he laid the Telecaster on the floor of the stage.
Yeah, he did.
And then he walked over and he reached into his.
For a second there, I thought he was going to give the Telecaster to somebody in the audience.
I did. I thought the same thing because he put it down on the thing there, and it's like, wow, what is he doing here? Then he walked over to the a little bit not quite center stage, but a little off to the side, and then he just reached in his pocket and he grabbed something, and the next thing you know, you see these things flying in the air, and they were picks,
Mm-hmm.
So I would have liked to have gotten one. But,
yeah.
Oh well, maybe next time.
Yeah. Well, like you said, if he ever comes back, I think we would probably see if we can get closer to the stage.
I'd like to be on the stage.
Yeah. Well,
right. Yeah.
Good luck with that.
I know. Joe, if you're listening to this, I'd like to be on the stage. I know it ain't going to happen, but
no, it was good. I would definitely 100% go see Joe again, especially if he's back in Des Moines. And maybe even if he's not coming to Des Moines, but he's coming to one of the major cities that's not too far away, do a little road trip or something.
Right.
But yeah, it was a great concert. It was a great time to experience live blues music like that. For me, was absolutely amazing. Like, I left there definitely wanting to learn some new things. There were just so many cool little things that I saw him doing that I'm like, man, that doesn't really look like it'd be that hard if I just spend a little bit of time figuring it out and practicing.
Yep.
And so that was really cool. The other concerts I've gone to, it's just a show. There's you're listening to the old stuff, and you're not taking anything home from it other than, well, I just went to a show.
Mm-hmm.
With the Joe Bonamassa concert, I was like, heck yeah, I want to learn some new things. It was cool.
Yeah, there was a lot to actually just even viewing or watching Joe. There was a lot of things that I seen him do that he did the 12s with his Telecaster. I seen
Yep.
that a few times. He did he would pluck a string, hold a note on the fretboard, and then go to the top where the neck is, where the tuners are, and he'd push down on the string and give it like a strange. It's like I can't describe it, but it's a weird sound. He did a lot of that in one of the songs, and
some of the stuff that I saw him do, I think I've seen Eddie Van Halen do on some YouTube videos with adjusting the volume knobs during
right.
like play a note and then adjusting the volume up and down on the guitar.
Right. That's a swell.
Right. And then I think he even did some tapping around the fretboard.
Right. He did harmonics.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, just tons of cool stuff. And at one point, and it kind of shocked me because you're like, I can't believe how fast he's playing. I'm like, I looked at you. I'm like, what, you can't play that fast? I thought you could.
No, not really. I mean, that's what I'm saying is that I'm surprised that the neck was still, it wasn't charred.
Right. Well, so obviously it's hot as hell on stage.
Yes, it is.
So, and there were several times, like almost everybody in the band, we saw grab a rag and wipe their face down because they're just sweating bullets.
Yep.
So that kind of makes sense. You're just sweating to high hell, swap out the guitars because otherwise you're basically trying to play on a slip and slide.
I mean, it's a big thing. I mean, that's why I'm not sure why Joe changed his guitars all the time like that, but I have a funny feeling it was probably they get the sweat and everything from his hands and stuff like that. He probably gives it off to the guitar tech, and the guitar tech wipes it down and gets it ready for another spot during the set. That's the only thing I can think of because I know that
I think that would be a hard job to do, to be the guitar tech or that guy that's got to keep all the guitars lined up and know at what point we're going to go from this guitar to that guitar. You got to take the one off stage, you got to wipe it down, probably retune it or prepare the tuning for I think that person has a lot to do in that 2 hours.
yes, he constant, and not only that, he has to monitor. Like Joe is probably being monitored by the guitar tech if Joe has one, and I'm sure he does. But if Joe broke a string or something, then the guitar tech would come on stage and get that guitar out of his hands and put a new guitar in his hands to play the song.
Yeah,
I mean, that's pretty common with artists like that. Now, I did notice that I don't know if the other guy from California, the other guitarist, I don't know if he broke a string or what he did, but he swapped out the guitars. He did it himself, and then he had to tune it up. And
yeah, because
so
he was playing a black Fender Strat.
Yeah, and then he changed over.
And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, wasn't it an SG?
I'm not sure what it was. It was hard to see.
Yeah, but I mean, I think that was the only swap that I saw him do. Because I think he must have broke a string or something. And to be honest with you, the way that they perform, I feel like they are so in tune because I felt like when the guitarist, the not the I guess the lead guitarist that or the second guitarist, I wish I knew all their names, but it's almost like, oh crap, I broke a string, and Joe moved over to the other side of the stage, which completely distract everybody from the left hand side of the stage. I didn't even see the guitar swap happen.
Right.
And I thought there was a lot of that.
Yeah.
There was a lot of misdirection and distraction to cover up little mistakes and fixes that they needed to correct.
Right. Like I noticed that when Joe went to wipe his hands or his face or something like that, you notice that the other guitarist took over basically and
Mm-hmm.
filled in and stuff like that. Then when Joe got back to the stage, I mean, he
Yeah.
never left. He never left the stage. But
Nope.
when he went back, he was, he started playing, and then you would notice that when I don't know if he broke a string or what, but I noticed that he had to tune the guitar because he was doing stuff with the tuners on the guitar.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure he was tuning it, and he was disconnected from the amp, and he probably had a pedal on the ground that gave him the whether he was in tune or not for that string, So
Yeah.
and then
Well, and then they did other things too. Like it wasn't, that. Yeah, the other guitars could take over, but it was like really weird because they did it throughout the show. They're like, oh, hey, I need to go over here, and it's probably not, but it was almost like I need to go over here and like take a drink of soda. I don't know if he was drinking Diet Coke or what, but he'd go over there, and then they would just instantly, like the entire band knew it's like, oh, okay, we're gonna distract over here, and the pianist is gonna do this huge solo, or the drummer,
Right.
or the bassist. I don't know. It was just really cool.
Yep, the whole thing was really good. I did like the drum solo that they had, that little solo at the on the second set.
Yeah, that was
I mean,
towards the end. I was like,
Yeah, that guy's good.
wow.
Yeah, I thought he was good. Kept the beat, kept the even in when Joe was just lightly playing his solo very, very softly. The drummer and the bassist kept the beat moving.
There was a
Kept,
few times where I was watching the bassist, and I could just
Right.
see him just very lightly move his thumb over the string. And I'm like, wait a second, is that coming from him, or is that coming from the drummer, or is that a combination of both?
Yeah, I did see that.
It was super in sync, and
As they say, it's the best of the best. He scours the country for good talent, and he's got a good bunch of people there that help him create his music. And what can I say? It was really good.
it definitely was. I would go back again and again and again. If it was a yearly event, I would definitely do it. If the ticket prices went up, I would continue to pay those ticket prices. I'm not saying they should. Everybody likes cheap venues, but I thought the price was fair, especially for what you got.
Yes, I thought I forgot what you pay. You bought the
I
tickets,
did,
right?
yeah, because when we started talking about putting this podcast together, we talked for a long time before we finally were like, hey, we either need to hit record or move on. And
Correct.
you had mentioned that that Joe Bonamassa was coming, and you would love to go see him. And at the same time, I was kind of getting excited to like try to go to concerts and everything. So I was just looking, and I saw it, and I was talking to the wife, and they were $154 per ticket. And I asked the wife, and she's like, "Yeah, get them." I'm like, "All right, done."
Yeah.
So I got us as center stage as possible because I
Right.
want, if I'm going to pay the money, I want a good seat. I'm not paying the money to
Yep.
sit off to the left or the right. I want a good seat.
Yep.
But at the same time, I did not realize that they had gotten rid of the center aisle in the venue.
Yes.
So I'm like, I'm getting old. So I'm like, oh, if I have to use the restroom, I don't want to walk by 50 people. So I'll just get these two seats that are right here next to the aisle. Well, that aisle doesn't exist anymore.
Right. Well, there is a stipulation there. When we were exchanging the tickets, they said that when the Lion King and certain performances were there, they remove some of the chairs in the middle. So there is a middle aisle.
Mm. Okay.
Okay. So that was something that I caught that because I asked about it,
Yeah.
and that's what she said. But yes, and then when I went through security, because you have to go through security, the yeah, the lady says to me, you're in J on, you're right in the sort of like just off center. And I said, yeah, I said, it's going to be a pain to get to the bathroom though. So she's like, yeah. So,
Yeah,
but
I guess just don't go in there with a full bladder. You'll be okay.
yes, that's what I did. I just went in, emptied emptied my bladder out, and then
Yeah,
I sat down and
I didn't really see a whole lot of people. There were a few people that got up at some point in the show and either went to go refill their beverage or use the restroom or whatever. But for the most part, there wasn't a whole lot of movement. I mean, everybody pretty much stayed in their seats and enjoyed the concert,
yep,
which
yeah.
honestly, I'd be upset. If you have to run to the restroom in that venue for that concert and you're gone for 5 minutes, what did you miss? There was something cool every 5 minutes at least.
Every time you looked at the stage, there was something going on. Either singing, he was playing a solo, somebody was doing something,
Yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff, not only visually but just to listen. There was a lot of stuff going on.
So like I said, I would definitely go back again. So keep an eye out for me. Help me out if he does come back. We'll kind of keep an eye on that. See if we can get tickets again. That was a good time. Had a lot of fun.
No, I was going to say I'd like to see. I originally I wanted to see Joe Bonamassa really bad, but
Yeah.
Buddy Guy would be another one. He comes around to the Des Moines. I think he's in another venue though. He goes to, and there's a bunch of them that are that go to that. Maybe we can scrape up some money somewhere and go to see them at some point.
I think I saw first the Eagles were coming to town. And I looked up those tickets and I said, nope, not a chance. Because you're not getting into that venue under $500 at this point.
Yep.
And then I think I've seen advertisements for Stevie Vai.
Oh yeah, I did. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't
He's
know.
pretty good.
I don't know where he's going to or anything like that, but yeah, we'll definitely see if we can't check out some more concerts in the future.
Yep. It'd be great if, and then we'll report back to everybody on what we think of them.
The project's guitar is all done, I do believe.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I think we covered the last of that in the last episode. I still need to work and get some of the pictures. I've got some drafts up there. I just need to kind of fine tune them and get them published up there on Buy Me a Coffee.
Right.
And what's next? We haven't even had the opportunity to talk about what the next episode or even the next. We've been so focused on the Joe Bonamassa concert, we have not talked about anything after this.
Well, I think that I'd like to on the next episode. I would like to do a thing with the before and after with the scratchiness that I had with the guitar, and then now there's no scratchiness, to give you an idea of what I had to deal with and stuff like that, and the way it sounds before and the way it sounds now. Not much different in the sounding, except the scratchiness is gone. Lots of, as I said, I replaced all of the electronics except for the pickups. So
yeah, maybe we can do that. Maybe we can kind of do a project guitar recap. Kind of go through it a little bit more detail and get the some before audio, some after audio. We'll put the whole thing together and then we'll put that on Buy Me a Coffee so that if people want to go check that out as well.
Sure, we can do that. There's going to be a lot of stuff with it, and plus, we got the holidays coming up and all that other stuff, so we'll have to see what happens.
Yeah, we'll try to get a few easy episodes in. All right, well, do you have anything else you want to add for episode number 8?
No, not really. I think that about covers it. It was just the Joe Bonamassa, and we were totally 100% focused on that. We're finally getting to record the actual podcast, so I guess that this is going to be it for that, and then we're on to the episode 9.
Sounds like a plan. We'll see everybody in 2 weeks.
Yep. Bye, everybody.